If you have a loved one suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, or if you're starting to worry about your own memory loss, please listen closely. My name is Christine O'Brien. I'm a research assistant for one of America's top doctors, and what I'm about to say may shock you. It may also mean the difference between life and death. Evidence has emerged that for at least 3.5 years, researchers funded by the U.S. government have been reversing Alzheimer's disease in their patients. Now, perhaps you're thinking, wait a minute, Alzheimer's and dementia can't be reversed. And you're right, that is the mainstream medical opinion. Yet this elite group of government-funded researchers did it for 9 out of 10 of their patients. But the most shocking part is how they're doing it. They're not relying on prescription drugs. They haven't developed a new surgical technique. Instead, they're using a version of something called the ICT protocol. It's a completely new way of approaching Alzheimer's treatment. And the results they're getting aren't simply better than prescription drugs. They're in a whole different league. In fact, the stunning transformations have some doctors and researchers cautiously whispering the word cure. One patient, a 69-year-old business owner named Tom, was getting so bad he couldn't remember the names and faces of the people who worked for him. But what really set off the alarm bells was when he read 6 chapters of a book before he realized he had just finished reading the same book a week ago. Brain scans showed clear evidence of Alzheimer's disease, and things were getting rapidly worse. But just a few short months of the ICT protocol completely reversed his symptoms. His memory snapped back to life. He could recall the name and face of everyone he worked with without a second thought. Medically speaking, his Alzheimer's was cured. Another patient, a 55-year-old mother of 3 named Christine, started to worry after she left the stove on when she went out 9 separate times. Can you imagine? That's more than just embarrassing. It's dangerous. And that wasn't even the worst of it. Christine's short-term memory was so bad she had to start carrying an audio recorder everywhere she went. She'd record all her conversations just so she could remember what people told her. Her children were getting very worried about her. Yet after just 5 months on the ICT protocol, she was back to her old self again. No more carrying around the audio recorder, and no more leaving the stove on. Her memory was back to 100%. Her children were stunned by the transformation. Another patient was a 67-year-old named Janet. She works at an engineering firm where she writes analytical reports. Her memory issues were getting so bad she would read a page and by the time she got to the bottom, completely forget what she was reading. Has that ever happened to you? It can be really scary. And for Janet, it meant her career was in jeopardy. She had to take a leave of absence and was thinking about retiring early. But after 3 months on the ICT protocol, every one of her symptoms had disappeared. She says her memory is better than it's been in years, and she can write those reports without a problem. Fast forward to today, and Janet is still 100% symptom-free. She continues to work full-time. And these are only a few of the success stories. With results like this, we're no longer talking about just slowing mental decline, but actually stopping and reversing it. Bringing back full brain function, memories, intelligence, quick thinking, even sense of humor. Can you imagine your loved one getting back to their old self a few short months from now? Lost memories coming back, the brain fog vanishing, clear thinking returning. Imagine all the good times you'll be able to share with them, all the laughs, the family dinners. Imagine looking into their eyes and seeing their old self looking back at you again. And here's the best news of all. The ICT protocol is something you can do on your own, at home. And I'll show you everything you need to know in this presentation. But maybe you're wondering, if the ICT protocol works so well, why aren't doctors everywhere using this proven method? Better yet, why hasn't your own doctor offered the ICT protocol to your loved one? Well, I'm afraid the mainstream liberal establishment can't let that happen. Let me explain. In June of 2010, President Obama publicly declared war on Alzheimer's disease. That's when he signed a bill called the National Alzheimer's Project Act into law. That created a huge nationwide task force of scientists and researchers. It involved millions in funding and a green light for hundreds of new studies. It was great PR for Obama, bumped up his approval ratings for a little while. But actually curing the disease, that was never part of their plan. See, NAPA, like all big government's wars on disease, was really just a handout to Big Pharma, plain and simple. You see, by creating programs like NAPA, the government gets to control the flow of money used for research. Then they funnel that money into research that they know will never lead to a cure. For Alzheimer's disease, that means lots of studies on new prescription drugs. Even though billions of dollars and decades of research into prescription Alzheimer's drugs have completely failed to slow the disease, let alone cure it. But there is still hope. Thanks to one of America's most brilliant doctors, the exceptions to the rule, the true breakthroughs that can reverse disease and help you live a longer, healthier life, are starting to emerge. That doctor's name is Glenn Rothfeld. For more than 40 years, he's been on the forefront of the movement to cut through the government's lies and deception, the push to unleash the real cures to the people who need them. And the ICT protocol is a perfect example. Chances are none of us would know about this life-saving breakthrough if it weren't for Dr. Rothfeld's tireless work making it public. Now, I'll share some of the details of the ICT protocol in just a second. So if you have a loved one battling Alzheimer's, you can start getting them better today. But maybe you're wondering, why should you trust Dr. Rothfeld's medical opinion? Great question. With a background that includes a clinical fellowship at Harvard, a professorship at the prestigious Tufts University in Boston, 5 years as an emergency physician specializing in heart conditions, and 8 best-selling books on everything from heart disease to back pain, Dr. Rothfeld's resume would make most celebrity doctors jealous. Yet Dr. Rothfeld intentionally shies away from the media spotlight. He isn't interested in fame. He's too busy helping his patients cure chronic disease and get a new lease on life. As medical director of the Rothfeld Center for Integrative Medicine in Waltham, Massachusetts, he's built a reputation for uncovering the true hidden causes of our worst diseases. It's become his life's mission, diving deep into the underground research to seek out the real root causes of our worst modern diseases, and creating remedies and protocols to address them, even when it flies directly in the face of the mainstream opinion. Take Alzheimer's, for example. Almost all the mainstream research is focused on targeting beta-amyloid plaque with prescription drugs. But the dramatic success of the ICT protocol proves something shocking. Beta-amyloid plaque, the ultimate boogeyman of Alzheimer's disease, is really just a symptom. Let me explain. Most doctors think that the plaque that builds up in brain cells is what triggers forgetfulness, confusion, and depression. So prescription drugs are designed to target that plaque. But think about this. The only reason we know about beta-amyloid plaque is because scientists have dissected the brains of people who've already died from Alzheimer's. So by the time plaque builds up in your brain, you're already far down the path of Alzheimer's. In other words, plaque is really a late-stage symptom of a deeper problem. And according to Dr. Rothfeld's years of research, that deeper problem is, in essence, starvation. See, your brain is like a Formula One race car engine. It needs the right fuel to run properly. For our brains, the fuel is highly specialized forms of nutrients, like glucose, B vitamins, choline, phosphorus, and others. It's like a high-octane blend. When we're young, our digestion works well enough that we can draw out those critical nutrients, even if we don't eat the healthiest diet. But as we get older, things change. It gets harder and harder to absorb the nutrients in our diet, no matter how healthy we eat. Mainly because our digestion and metabolism naturally slow down. We may even be gaining weight, but we're not getting the nutrients. And because our brain cells can't work without those special nutrients, they suffer the worst. In effect, they're starving to death, even if you're eating plenty of healthy food. It starts with general brain fog, the earliest sign of a starving brain. Soon your loved one starts having those senior moments more and more often. And in a heartbreakingly short amount of time, sometimes just a few weeks, it gets much worse. Soon they're forgetting the names of people they've known for decades. They may get lost and confused in public places, and you realize they'll need constant care and supervision. It's one of the most tragic things that can happen to a family, and it's all because their brain cells simply don't have the high-octane fuel they need. And that's why the ICT protocol triggers such powerful transformations in Alzheimer's patients. You see, the ICT protocol is a super nutrient cocktail designed to feed your starving brain, coupled with a few simple dietary tweaks to make sure you're digesting and absorbing the nutrients properly. Let me give you an example. One of the ingredients in the protocol is a type of healthy fat known as medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. Now, if you're like me, when you hear healthy brain fats, you think omega-3s, like fish oil. Those kinds of fats are surely good for you, but they have to be digested before your body can use them. And remember, slower digestion is one of the reasons your brain is starving in the first place. MCT is different. It has an almost magical ability to absorb directly into your bloodstream without being digested at all. It's the only nutrient in the world with that ability. So with a regular dose of MCTs, your brain cells have a fresh new stream of energy at their disposal. In fact, MCTs alone may be powerful enough to reverse mild cases of mental decline. But when it's combined with the other ingredients in the ICT protocol, the results are downright incredible. In fact, this breakthrough is so urgent for anyone facing Alzheimer's right now, Dr. Rothfeld is doing something unprecedented. He's compiled all of the details of the ICT protocol in a brand new book, and he'd like to send it to you today, free of charge. Yes, I said free, but we have an extremely limited number of copies, so it won't be free for long. Be sure to keep watching this video long enough to learn how to claim your copy. It's called CURES, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more, and it contains much more than just the ICT protocol. In fact, it's over 500 pages of Dr. Rothfeld's brilliant medical insights. It reveals the true underlying cause of diseases like cancer, arthritis, heart disease, and more, and the stunningly simple natural solutions the government wants to keep quiet. Let me show you what I mean. Let's talk about cancer. According to mainstream medicine, you only get cancer because you have a genetic predisposition, and the only way to treat it is with chemo and radiation. That works out great for Big Pharma since they charge up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for these treatments. But what if the idea that cancer is a genetic disease was flat out wrong? According to Dr. Rothfeld, it is. Think about this. At this very moment, we all have cancer. It's true. Everyone, even the healthiest people in the world, have some cancerous cells in their body at all times. Most of the time, our immune systems find these cancer cells, get rid of them, and we're none the wiser. This happens every moment of every day. So if you end up with a life-threatening tumor, your genes aren't to blame. The problem is in your immune system. Now, what you're about to hear might just make you so furious you snap your keyboard over your knee, and I wouldn't blame you one bit. Because our loved ones are suffering poisonous chemo and radiation treatments when the far better approach has already been found. Not only is it much safer and more effective, it's actually proven in some studies to cure certain cancers on its own. That's right, the vast majority of cancers are not a death sentence, not anymore. Not since Dr. Rothfeld revealed the medicinal mushroom compound that can save you from 4 out of the 5 most common cancers, using the power of your own immune system. See, medicinal mushrooms have been used for centuries in Asia, and they've been the subject of a lot of research. And for decades, there have been tantalizing hints that these mushrooms could be powerful weapons against cancer. For example, one study showed that a mushroom extract could kill more than 90% of bladder cancer cells in just 72 hours under laboratory conditions. Another showed up to a 93% reduction in tumor size when it was given to mice. But in test after test, when scientists try to replicate those results in people, they fail. The problem is that the active molecules in medicinal mushrooms, called polysaccharides, are too big to be digested. But a few years ago, scientists in Japan developed a technique to shrink them down. It's based on something called enzymatic fermentation. The science is incredibly complex, but the end result is those same active molecules from the mushrooms, the polysaccharides, at about 1% of the original size. Dr. Rothfeld calls these reduced polysaccharides, and because they're so much smaller than the original, they can be absorbed with ease, which means all the tumor shrinking results from laboratory and animal studies is now within reach for you. So how do reduced polysaccharides work? This may be the best news of all, because they're actually not cancer killers themselves. Instead, they empower your own immune system to kill cancer for you. Specifically, they powerfully boost the activity of your natural killer, or NK cells. NK cells are your body's God-given anti-cancer medicine. As long as they're working at full force, cancer doesn't stand a chance. In fact, in another study on 17 cancer patients, the activity level of their NK cells doubled in just 2 weeks. And after 6 weeks, the activity of cancer-fighting NK cells increased up to 1,000%. What does this mean to you? Simply put, it means this mushroom extract switches on the most powerful cancer-fighting system in nature, the one that's already in your body. That gives it 2 big advantages over chemo and radiation. 1, it's blessedly free of side effects since it's your own immune system killing the cancer instead of an external poison. 2, it seems to work on any type of cancer, with research on cells from liver, colon, skin, breast, and lung cancers, multiple myeloma, leukemia, melanoma, and more. Understand this isn't some fringe alternative therapy. In Japan, it's given to just about every cancer patient in major hospitals. It's one of the reasons so few Japanese people die from cancer. It's just that our health officials don't want us to know about it. Chemo and radiation are the most profitable treatments in their arsenal. There's no way they'll allow a natural alternative to gain popularity. But thanks to Dr. Rothfeld, you can get the truth about this mushroom extract, including where to get it and how much to take. Everything you need to know is in Chapter 2 of Cured, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more. So please keep watching to find out how to claim your free copy of Cured before it's too late. First, let me give you a closer look inside this medical masterpiece. Because if you suffer with arthritis or joint pain, what you're about to hear will change your life. It's another case of mainstream medicine ignoring the real cause of your disease, so they can keep pushing dangerous, expensive drugs. But Dr. Rothfeld sees through their game. Let me explain. According to mainstream doctors, you only get arthritis because the cartilage in your joints wears down, causing inflammation and pain. So they prescribe drugs to target the inflammation and pain. But what if there were a natural substance that could stop the cartilage breakdown and completely protect your joints from wear and tear? And what if it were so powerful it could actually reverse years of damage in no time at all? This is a true natural arthritis cure so powerful and so safe, you could completely erase arthritis pain in as little as 30 minutes. I know that sounds outlandish, but wait until you hear the story. The year was 1974. A chemist named Dr. Harry Deal was working for the NIH in Bethesda, Maryland, researching arthritis using lab rats. His experiments involved injecting the rats with an inflammatory compound to give them arthritis, and then test different treatments. One day, when he ran out of lab rats, he tried mice instead. And then something curious happened. When he gave mice the exact same injection that caused crippling arthritis in rats, it didn't work. In fact, nothing he did triggered arthritis in mice. Turns out he had discovered what is now a medical fact. Mice are immune to arthritis. Naturally, Dr. Deal wondered why, so he started looking into it. And it became a bit of an obsession. He analyzed thousands of mice, looking for the key that made them immune to arthritis. Soon, his persistence paid off. He discovered a special kind of protective fat in the joints of mice called CFA, which stands for conjugated fatty acids. Knowing these kinds of fats lubricate joints and reduce inflammation, he thought maybe, just maybe, this was the key. He looked for the same fat in rats and couldn't find any. He was so close. When he gave the arthritic rats a few doses of the fat, sure enough, they became immune to arthritis, just like mice. Bingo! Let that sink in for a minute. This natural compound makes animals immune to arthritis. If you're wondering if it works for people too, the answer is a big yes. See, Dr. Deal had arthritis pain himself in his hands, so he became his own guinea pig. He developed a topical CFA solution and rubbed it on his hands for a few days. And sure enough, his pain simply vanished. Can you imagine how that would feel? To have pain that's been plaguing you for years simply evaporate like a morning fog? Now, needless to say, the NIH did not publicize these findings. But Dr. Rothfeld uses his treatment all the time with his patients, has been for years. And they routinely report total relief from joint pain. Friend, if you or anyone you love suffers with joint pain, please get them this information as soon as possible. Dr. Rothfeld has put everything you need to know about CFA inside your free copy of Cured. It's the only place you can get Dr. Rothfeld's unbiased truth about CFA. Because Big Pharma and the media they control with advertising dollars wants you to believe that CFA doesn't exist. Notice how you've never heard about it on the news? Ever hear your doctor talk about it? That's what happens when a natural cure works too well. It gets buried. After all, the only place to learn about it is from someone with special knowledge. And Dr. Rothfeld has that knowledge. In fact, he uses CFA all the time with his patients. On page 111 of CURED, Dr. Rothfeld goes into detail about the source of CFA he recommends. In addition, you'll get the top 5 inflammation-cooling, pain-erasing secrets Dr. Rothfeld uses in combination with CFA for even faster results. These secrets are the reason so many of Dr. Rothfeld's patients report complete relief from their joint pain after just a few treatments. And you're getting access to the same secrets without even leaving your house. If someone you love is suffering, they just got a second chance at a pain-free life. It's yet another example of the life-changing secrets waiting for you in your free copy of CURED. Keep in mind, this exclusive volume is not available in any store. It's not sold anywhere online. The only place to get it is right here through the special link you'll see below this presentation in just a second. And there's so much more inside these pages. Every chapter could mean a fresh start, a new lease on life for you or a loved one. For example, in Chapter 4, you'll discover a startling fact the mainstream medical complex is desperate to keep quiet. Type 2 diabetes is now a completely curable condition. And you can forget about injections, blood tests, and prescription drugs. See, Big Pharma wants you to think you only get diabetes because you're overweight and you eat too many carbs. So they order you to give up the foods you love and practically force-feed you drugs to lower your blood sugar. But according to Dr. Rothfeld, they're missing the point. Here's the truth. Your body already makes a substance designed to lower your blood sugar. It's called insulin. If you can get your insulin working the way it should, you can enjoy the occasional cookie or soft drink without worrying. Which is why Dr. Rothfeld's blood sugar solution is not a prescription drug. Instead, it's a plant extract from India that's like nature's insulin on steroids. It dramatically lowers blood sugar from the very first time you take it and can reverse your diabetic symptoms in a few weeks. And this is no untested folk remedy. In fact, a recent clinical trial tested it head-to-head against one of Big Pharma's biggest cash cows. And the results are sending shockwaves through the medical community, because the extract proved better than the drug in a gold standard double-blind trial. It comes from an oriental plant called Berberis aristata, and in the study, it lowered fasting blood sugar by 35% and post-meal blood sugars by 44%. The most shocking part? The results of the extract were almost identical to the drug, minus the side effects. It should have been front-page news, but it doesn't fit the Big Pharma model because it's natural and they can't charge an arm and a leg for it. They can't hide the facts, though. This natural treatment could safely eliminate high blood sugar. And it gets even better, because Berberis aristata does more than just lower blood sugar. It also slashes bad cholesterol and sends triglycerides plummeting. Talk about a breakthrough, a single natural extract that could replace blood sugar drugs and cholesterol-lowering drugs. And that's exactly why you've never heard about it. If these results go public, Big Pharma stands to lose about $17 billion next year alone. Luckily, all the info you need starts on page 149 of CURED, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more. Remember, this monumental book is the only place to get the full story on Berberis aristata treatment, how to use it to reverse diabetes and bring your blood pressure and cholesterol in line too. And we're holding one free copy for you right now. And it doesn't stop with curing your diabetes. CURED is your roadmap to perfect health, your complete guide to conquering every health threat you face. And what's the #1 health threat we face today? That's right, heart disease. That's why Chapter 12 of CURED exposes the most blatant, the most shameful, the most downright evil cover-up of them all. Make no mistake, if you've had a heart attack, stroke, ischemia, or cardiac event, or your doctor says you're at risk, your life may very well depend on what you're about to hear. Because the one thing you must do to make yourself heart attack proof is get off cholesterol-lowering medicine as fast as you safely can. Let me explain. Mainstream medicine loves to use cholesterol as the boogeyman for heart disease. Not because it's true, but because cholesterol-lowering drugs called statins are the best-selling pills in history. They stuff the wallets of Big Pharma execs with more than $19 billion every year. The problem is cholesterol is not the real enemy. And more urgently, statins are killing you. See, when mainstream doctors learn about statin drugs and heart disease in med school, the lesson goes like this. Cholesterol clogs arteries. That causes heart attacks and strokes, so we should lower cholesterol. These drugs are the only way to do that. It sounds logical. Problem is, everything about that statement has been proven false. First of all, only LDL or bad cholesterol clogs arteries. But cholesterol itself is not the real problem. The real problem is inflammation. Your blood vessels are lined with some of the most delicate cells in your whole body. They're highly sensitive to inflammation caused by toxins, autoimmune conditions, and high blood sugar. And when they're damaged by inflammation, your body deposits cholesterol to patch up the damage. It's a natural healing process. It's when the inflammation never stops. That's when cholesterol piles up high enough to cause a blockage. Now here's the real kicker. Did you know that cholesterol is a powerful anti-inflammatory? It's true. See, your endocrine system uses the molecules in cholesterol to make steroid hormones, and steroid hormones are the most powerful anti-inflammatory chemicals in nature. So by taking a drug to lower cholesterol, you're wiping out your natural anti-inflammation system, which increases your risk of heart disease. Plus, steroid hormones help you metabolize blood sugar. So if they're out of balance, it can lead to high blood sugar, which increases your risk of heart disease. Friend, the drug companies know this. It's why they don't like to talk about the science behind statins. After all, no study has ever proven they save you from a heart attack. Do you see why Dr. Rothfeld insists his patients get off statins as quickly as they can? That's why on page 97 of Cured, you'll discover the hushed-up plant compound that regulates your cholesterol levels naturally. Keeps them right where they should be, not too high and definitely not too low. That way, you can get off statins safely and quickly. Your steroid hormones will come back into balance, and you'll slash your heart attack risk. Then the next step is to actually slash your risk even further, so you are virtually immune to heart disease. The secret is to reduce inflammation in your blood vessels, and Dr. Rothfeld will show you exactly how to do that, without drugs. See, you've probably heard of the French paradox, right? It's the medical mystery of why the French, who eat like kings and smoke like chimneys, never seem to have heart attacks. Researchers all over the world have studied it, and now we're finally starting to figure out the answer. It's all about compounds called OPCs. They're a special kind of antioxidant found in certain fruits and red wine. Unlike normal antioxidants, they seem to counteract inflammation in blood vessels. In short, they make you almost heart attack proof. So by all means, enjoy a glass or two of red wine if you'd like, but take note, there's a much better source of OPCs available. They're found in an exotic plant called whitethorn. Interestingly, whitethorn extract was used hundreds of years ago as a remedy for heart conditions, and only recently has it been tested, enhanced, and proven with modern science. A few years ago, some curious researchers in Germany decided to test it against the leading prescription heart drug, and it was no contest. Whitethorn was every bit as effective as the prescription without the side effects. It turns out to be a very potent anti-inflammatory, one that seems to target inflammation in the blood vessels. By cooling down this inflammation, you could slash your heart attack risk to practically zero. Of course, the drug companies are not excited about whitethorn. They've made sure you won't hear about it on the news or from your doctor. But you will find it in Dr. Rothfeld's Cured, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more. Remember, you're entitled to one free copy today, and I'll show you how to claim it in about 3 minutes. But you're probably wondering how Dr. Rothfeld could manage to give it away for free. After all, printing, binding, and shipping a 500-page book isn't free. So let me explain. All the secrets you're learning about right now, everything inside Cured, was first revealed to a small group of select individuals. They're the friends and colleagues of Dr. Rothfeld, and they subscribe to his monthly health bulletin, Nutrition and Healing. You see, Cured is the master resource of Dr. Rothfeld's greatest cures and remedies. It's the concentrated wisdom for more than 4 decades at the forefront of natural medicine. But Dr. Rothfeld isn't finished. He's certainly not retiring. He's nowhere near it. In fact, if anything, he's picking up the pace. It seems like every week he uncovers a new natural cure, reveals a hidden cause of disease, discovers hushed-up research that could change your life, or makes a new breakthrough in treating cancer, Alzheimer's, chronic pain, and more. Friend, any one of these developments could be exactly what you've been waiting for. Anyone could save your life or the life of your loved ones. which is why Dr. Rothfeld publishes these ongoing breakthroughs each month in the pages of Nutrition and Healing. Simply put, a subscription to Nutrition and Healing will keep you plugged in to the cutting edge of natural medicine. You'll never miss anything that could help you beat pain and disease naturally. And remember, your copy of Cured, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more, is yours free when you accept our invitation to try out Nutrition and Healing today, at a drastically reduced rate, of course. Details in just a moment, but there's so much more I want to share with you. Secrets you can use immediately to improve your energy, get rid of pain, reverse disease, get off prescription drugs, and heal yourself naturally. For example, on page 345 of Cured, you'll find out about a vitamin so powerful it can erase 20 years of aging in 90 days, that's been suppressed by the U.S. government for 56 years. Let me ask, do you enjoy getting older? Do you like feeling tired and foggy? Are you thrilled about age spots and wrinkles? Me neither, which is why page 345 could be so life-changing. Because it turns out that the real cause of aging, the wrinkles, the disappearing energy, the aches and pains, is nothing more than a simple vitamin deficiency. Impossible? But this is no ordinary vitamin. You won't find it in any multivitamin pills. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find it at all without Dr. Rothfeld's help. It's known as vitamin G. And while you probably haven't heard of it, I guarantee you've seen what it can do. Let me explain. Remember Dick Clark? Before he sadly passed away at 86, he was America's teenager. For decades, the man just did not age. If you're like me, you used to watch him light up the screen on New Year's Rockin' Eve year after year, wondering what his secret was. Indeed, he did have a secret to staying young: vitamin G. You see, vitamin G is not like the other vitamins. It was first developed as an anesthetic because it has mild pain-killing properties. But in the 1940s, a doctor at Romania's National Geriatric Institute was experimenting with vitamin G and realized when given to elderly patients, it does a lot more than numb pain. She was shocked when her patients' energy levels soared. A youthful glow returned to their skin. They displayed stunning mental sharpness and the physical vitality of teenagers. It was like they'd swum laps in the fountain of youth. Turns out vitamin G is kind of like a cleaning crew for toxic cells. It reportedly penetrates stiff, worn-out cell membranes, flushing toxins and improving nutrient absorption. That lets old, worn-out cells rebuild themselves and actually grow younger. That means you can reverse almost every mental and physical symptom of aging. Imagine making most age spots and wrinkles disappear like magic as your skin gets tighter and firmer, regaining strength and agility in your arms and legs, improving your sex drive, your memory and mood, your circulation, blood pressure, and more. Impossible? I would have thought so too, but these were the reported results of one of the largest clinical trials ever conducted in Europe. And get this, 70% of the people in the trial never contracted a single disease, and their death rate was 5 times lower than the placebo group. Imagine knowing you're 70% less likely to be diagnosed with any disease. Would that ease your mind a little bit? You could relax and just live, like you have all the time in the world. So you must be wondering, what exactly is vitamin G? It's actually a combination of 2 natural compounds that already exist in your body called PABA and DEAE. They're in the B vitamin family. But when they're combined in a certain ratio, they become a brand new kind of vitamin, one with the power to rewind the aging process in your cells. It's how Dick Clark and scores of other celebrities stayed so young for so long. So why don't doctors give it to all their older patients? Well, for the last 34 years, drug companies have conspired with the FDA to make sure you and your doctor never hear a peep about vitamin G. It started in 1981 when the FDA first heard about vitamin G. They promptly labeled it an unapproved drug and banned it in the U.S. Of course, it's not a drug. It's a natural substance proven safe and effective in large-scale clinical trials, one that could rescue millions of seniors from the decline of aging. But the FDA was just doing the bidding of their real bosses, the pharmaceutical companies. Imagine all those seniors tossing out their prescriptions, living long, healthy, happy lives, without setting a foot in a pharmacy again. Unthinkable. So vitamin G was banned, and Dr. Aslan's research was smeared by pharma scientists. They did their best to erase all traces of vitamin G from memory. But Dr. Rothfeld isn't fooled that easily. He's seen the stunning research on vitamin G. He knows the only company in Romania that still produces it, and he gives it to his older patients, and they're in love with this age-reversing miracle. Bottom line, if you're fed up with feeling older than you should, if you want the energy you had when you were half this age, if you want to wake up every morning without pain, if you want the mental sharpness to hold a sparkling conversation with anyone you meet, you need vitamin G now more than ever. And despite the best efforts of the government, it is available if you know where to look. But you have to know where to get it and how to make sure you're getting the real thing. There are quite a few fake versions for sale on the internet, and they could be dangerous. That's why page 345 of Cured contains everything you need to know to use the vitamin G miracle yourself. If you've ever dreamed about getting a second youth, a resurgence of energy and vitality, this is your dream come true. Keep in mind, Cured is the only place to get Dr. Rothfeld's full recommendations on vitamin G. And this 500-page masterpiece is not sold in any store. The only place to get it is through this presentation. Lucky for you, that means you get it free. All I ask in return is that you give Dr. Rothfeld's monthly bulletin, Nutrition and Healing, a risk-free try. Take a few months to find out just how valuable each and every issue of Nutrition and Healing will be for you. Find out what it means to be in the inner circle of one of America's most brilliant medical minds. And if you ever decide Nutrition and Healing isn't for you, just let us know. You'll get your money back with no questions asked. And you can keep your 500-page Cured 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more forever as our gift. Simply click the button below to claim your free copy of Cured. We'll rush it to you by USPS priority mail in a discreet package. As soon as you get it in the mail, I recommend you open it up immediately. Notice the sheer volume of information in the 500 pages. Notice the little things, how well it's organized with clearly marked sections for each of your health concerns. Notice how easy it is to read with nice, large print type. You may not even need reading glasses. But most importantly, use this book to find the answers you've been searching for. Find out about the amazing ICT protocol to reverse Alzheimer's and dementia in 90 days. Find out how to shrink tumors with an all-natural mushroom extract. Discover how to reverse diabetes with Berberis aristata, and so much more. Everything is explained in clear language by Dr. Rothfeld, and all the details you need to get and use these cures is included. You won't be overwhelmed with information, then left wondering what to do next. The whole point of Cured is to give you the power to heal yourself. So whatever health threat is facing you or your loved ones, find the answer, then put it to work. And in the meantime, check out a few issues of Nutrition and Healing. And again, if at any time you decide it's not for you, just let us know by phone or online. We'll refund every penny of your subscription. And you can keep your copy of Cured 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more. Just click the button below to make this masterpiece yours right now. And please don't delay. As I mentioned, our supply of free reports is running out at an alarming pace. And I would never forgive myself if I let you miss out on this. Because somewhere in these 500 pages is the one secret you've been searching for. The one secret that will turn your life and your health around and give you lots of happy, healthy years with your loved ones. That's why I believe Dr. Rothfeld's Cured deserves a place on your shelf. Because there's virtually no health problem that isn't addressed in these pages. You'll discover Dr. Rothfeld's natural protocol to erase varicose veins and look 30 years younger in 30 days. This secret alone is worth thousands of dollars to anti-aging experts, and it's yours free. The astonishing truth about the youth hormone that can make weight loss nearly effortless. The simple way to cure erectile dysfunction without relying on pills, and bring your sex drive roaring back to life. And a whole lot more. We haven't covered even a fraction of what Cured delivers. Owning this masterpiece is like getting a free house call from one of the world's most brilliant medical minds anytime you need it. And right now, you can claim your copy free. Just give Dr. Rothfeld's newsletter, Nutrition and Healing, a risk-free trial run. If you decide it's not for you, let us send you a full refund, and you can keep Cured as our gift. But please keep in mind, we only have a limited number of copies, and we can only hold your reserve copy for a short time. Please let us send your copy before we're forced to surrender it to someone else. As soon as you subscribe by clicking the button below, we'll rush your copy to your door. and you'll get instant access to the Nutrition and Healing online archives. That's where you can search the last 15 years of Nutrition and Healing, more than 160 monthly issues. That means just minutes after you click the button below, you'll have access to some of the most advanced healing knowledge available, the secrets the government and Big Pharma want to keep from you. Plus, you'll also get a free subscription to Dr. Rothfeld's daily email updates. These vital daily bulletins often contain some of Dr. Rothfeld's most important insights. It's where he'll keep you up to date on the battle between corporate medicine and real healing. You'll find out about new health discoveries before anyone else. You'll be alerted to medical dangers and pitfalls the mainstream media refuses to cover. You'll get access to members-only deals on top-quality health products. And it's all completely free with your trial subscription to Nutrition and Healing. And remember, the 500-page Cured is yours to keep, free, forever, even if you decide the monthly newsletter is not for you. You don't risk a single penny when you accept our invitation today. Make this the moment you take control of your health and your future. Claim your free copy of Cured, 81 Natural Cures for Cancer, Diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more now. Do it for your husband or wife. Do it for your kids or your grandkids. Do it for yourself. Above all, do it before time runs out. Click the button below to claim your copy now.